Y'all still bills, what's the deal, man? It's hump day, middle of the week. We got a nice little fight this weekend. Fabio Wardley versus Joseph Parker. Can't wait for that. That should be a bang fest. I don't know what the undercard gonna be like, but I'm excited for that fight. I thought it was last week. I was wrong. It's two left feet. It's this week, man. So we gonna, that's almost here. But P game, I want to talk about something, man. And I heard a interview from Brian Norman Sr. And in that interview, it said everything that, Bill Haney's plan. Bill Haney's plan as far as, who he plans on fighting. And he's taking the Mayweather approach, which is fighting fighters with Spanish surnames. And this is what this is why you got to be careful with who you get who you get so enamored with and caught up with as far as fighters and representatives of fighters go, man, because they show flaws as human beings, man. Bill Haney is a dude who pushes black consciousness, and I'm not he's married to a white woman, man, but I don't think because who you marry, that shouldn't dictate how you celebrate yourself, man. Now, some people see it as a contradiction, bro. If you was that celebratory yourself, you would have married a woman who looked like you. I get it. I get it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that sentiment, man. But, just like my wife is Mexican and Guatemalan, man. I'm a proud black man. I'm proud of my lineage. I love black women. I've never not been attracted to black women. But I just found my fit, Black women are always going to be the baddest thing on earth. I found my person in this world, though. That's just what it is, man. And you're not about to sit here and chastise me because I made that choice. But I will understand if you looked at me sideways. Because like I said, on my Facebook page, when I really stepped into black consciousness, I was kind of OD, and it was kind of cringeworthy to the point where it was like, all right, man, like, yo, you do gotta chill a little bit because you were super dragging it, bro, because you married to a Spanish chick, but you're talking this black, so I was like, yeah, that shit does look a little brazy, so let me step back off of that, man. But I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of my lineage. I'm proud of my history up here on this soil and to the continent of Africa, you dig? So you can be proud of your people. You can be proud of self. You can have a knowledge of self, even when you're married to someone who doesn't look like you or the woman that birthed you. But where the shit, where the shit gets shaky at is when you push this shit and the actions contradict what it is that you're saying. Like Floyd was, and this is, this is Floyd, this is straight out of Floyd Mayweather's playbook, man. Floyd in the now was talking about this, black fighters is black representation and yada, 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 all while doing sucker shit to Devin Haney when it comes to Ryan Garcia. Why are you on Ryan Garcia's ear in the capacity that you are and not in Devin Haney's? Now, granted, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be in Ryan Garcia's ear. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, man, but why are you so favorable of him as opposed to someone who looks like your own, who looks like you when you are the main one up here talking about black, representation for black fighters? It's a contradiction. It's the deeds. Motherfuckers get online and they do a lot of this, man, but they deeds and they actions don't, reciprocate what it is they talking about. And that's where the problem comes into play. So when you look at someone like a Bill Haney, king, every word out of his mouth, king, when he's talking to a brother, king, I love it. I dig it. It's a beautiful thing, man. But why, just since when is it no money in fighting black fighters, dude? You can't sit here and talk about how we're the cream of the crop and the salt of the earth and just the talent that resides within the black American populace is such a, at such a, a high rate, and how we're just disproportionately more talented. We produce more champions than every other country on this planet as far as the sport of boxing is concerned. But then our talent isn't enough to generate enough dollars. The only black man that you was really prone on fighting was Tank. You've never been favorable of fighting a fucking Shakur Stevenson. Like, the deeds are kind of starting to show. You'll fight Tank because it's a demand there. You'll fight Tank, but just like, you wasn't even in no rush to fight at Richardson Hitchens. Now, granted, you did go up there and fight Regis Prograis, but if that's the case, and you're trying to fight black, only fight black fighters. It's like, why even go and holler at a Regis Prograis? Why not take another route to getting the belt up there? So I don't know, like that notion does kind of seem like, I don't know. But even then, when you look at it, it still does make sense, because there's black fighters on Floyd's early career. Floyd fought Shane Mosley in it, but didn't fight another black fighter until he retired after fighting Andre Berto. That's what, a 6-year gap where it was just fighting people with Spanish surnames. You dig? I'm like, man, I just, it makes sense with, what what Brian Norman is saying, man. But if that is the case, why are you doing that? And this is what, and it's a shame, it's a slap in the face for all of the black fans who went to bat for this nigga, because it's like, dang, you think that lowly of us to where you won't even entertain getting in the ring with another one? Who's on your level? Who's on your level? You dig? Devin Haney, Regis Prograis, he had something that Devin Haney could exploit, and that's his feet. He was able to exploit that man's feet. So, all right, cool. This this situation right here is a lot more conducive to me winning. I don't got to go in here and go to war with this motherfucker. So it would make sense. Easy path to a fucking belt. All right, word, okay, whatever the fuck ever. But now you're at 147. Rashidi Ellis is up there. Brian Norman Jr. is up there. And they're saying that you didn't want to fight Brian Norman Jr. But he honestly is the one that's bubbling in the division right now, man. Like, so, I don't know, man. It's a lot of holes in the story. It's a lot of peaks in, because he is fighting Brian Norman, but it's like, yo, man, I don't know. But if that is the case, if that was the plan, bro, that's just not a good look. Why? Because it's too many black people that's in your corner, despite the sucker shit that you did. I'm coming across niggas who's finding ways to justify you doing the sucker shit that you did with Ryan. And I'm not, like, for the last time, I'm not about to sit here and say, I'm not playing no violin for Ryan goofy ass. I'm not doing that. But it is some sucker shit for you to sue another fighter. That shit will forever be some buster shit to me. That's some buster shit. So I'm not taking up for Ryan, man, but this ain't about Ryan. This is about you and the deeds that you was doing, man, because your stock took a hit because of that, whether you want to admit it or not. Whether you want to, you could add whatever justifications you can and caveats to that situation. The fact of the matter is, you suing a nigga. My nigga, you suing a nigga because you got crashed in the ring. That shit is weak. And now you sitting down with him all face-to-face, buddy, doing face-offs and all that, man. Like, what is we doing? What is we doing, man? So, yeah, bro, like, that's just, I don't know, it's two sides of the coin. People are saying you have no other choice but to go holler at a Brian Norman Jr. I mean, there really ain't nobody else in the welterweight division that would make some sort of sense. Brian Norman is kind of, he had that highlight reel knockout on World Star. Brian Norman's name was tied to boots. That right there brought a lot of attention to his name. It's a lot of caveats in that situation where it's like, all right, man, I really do got to go holler at this dude, because fighting Rolly Romero, you dig, you couldn't do that. So it's you do have to have some sort of integrity in about your opponent's selection. And I think people were entertaining a fight with you and Rolly Romero, and I'm like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing? So I can respect you going up and fighting a Brian Norman Jr., man. But if there's any, clarity to what Brian Norman Sr. is saying, man, that ain't no good look. That ain't no good look. Y'all don't get to sit here and talk about how black fighters are the cream of the crop and we this and that and the third and yada, 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 and then not entertain us when it's time to go, when y'all are on the same, when y'all become contemporaries because we don't have a Spanish surname. This is goofy, man. And I personally, I think that, if Eddie Hearn and all these, these promoters are smart, y'all need to start booking, in February, y'all need to start booking fights for, every week in that month for Black History Month. Y'all need to start booking fights, putting on the best black, the best black talent that y'all got, that y'all have to offer. You dig? If y'all want to change the narrative on shit, All right, cool. All right, yeah, Black History beatdown or something. Nah, I don't like how that sounds. Oh, that sounds like some jungle fighting shit. Just do something to be somewhat celebratory of the month of black culture, of black lineage, black American culture, black American lineage. If they can have a Latino night all the way in Riyadh, you can celebrate Black History Month. You can have a fight. Just look at all the key holidays surrounding black, just Black history. Malcolm X's birthday. You can have a Garvey Day for fucking August. You know what I'm saying? Frederick Douglass, Nat Turner. It's so many different avenues you can take to bring about black awareness and galvanize that audience. And because, I mean, this shit is 43 million of us here, bro. Plus. So, I mean, just what is, I don't understand how any fighter hasn't came to this conclusion. Like, I don't get it, man. Canelo can corner Cinco de Mayo. Floyd, and that even with Floyd, man, Cinco de Mayweather. Like, come on, man. That goes to show what it, man. That ain't the lane you want to take, and they still hold this dude in high esteem. They still hold this dude in high esteem. Floyd Mayweather, he's still the face of the sport. How? My nigga, he's not. He's not. Floyd is not the face of boxing. He's not. But if that is the case, Devin, then I just think that shit is a crying shame, man. That shit is whack. That shit is whack. You play games with Shakur. We got Linares, Gamboa, Linares, Garcia, Lomachenko, George Kambosos. But when it's time to fight Shakur, you run out of the ring. When it's time to fight Shakur, you want to put all these goofy, I don't know, man, just some outlandish price point on just goofy shit like that, man. Like, what are you talking? Just purse splits, 75, 30. Like, what are we doing, man? It's just goofy shit how you move when it's time to get in there and run with a nigga. And with Brian, I just feel like you think you could take advantage of, his feet or whatever the case, and maybe, just him not get his, how he doesn't always get his head off the line. I don't know, man. I don't know. Y'all allegedly tried to bring him in for sparring. He said, you a potential opponent. I'm not sparring you, dog. I'll see your ass when I see your ass. But nonetheless, I think it's dope that you fighting him. I think it is, a big risk in you fighting him. I'm not throwing shade or nothing like that. I salute it, my nigga. Come on, man. I salute it. But the point is, if that's your plan, it ain't no money in blacks fighting. Black fighting black fighters. There's no money in that. Even on a social level, man, that's a sentiment that they still hold against it to this day. Black on black, they bring that up every opportunity they'll get. They'll ignore every mass shooting. They blaming us for Charlie Kirk. Our educational institutions is under attack because Charlie Kirk got smoked by some white dude, a white man. At every opportunity they get to bang on us on a social scale, and y'all got the nerve to get in boxing and talk about ain't no money in blacks fighting, great black fighters fighting each other. That ain't a good look, G. That ain't a good look at all. That ain't a good look at all, man. So if that is your plan, bro, then you really got to do something about getting out of Floyd's shadow. You really got to do something, because Floyd is not somebody who's, Floyd is respected from his boxing standpoint, but the biggest Floyd fans have turned. I've seen the biggest Floyd fans turn against him, just because he's always a nigga who's going against the grain. Why do you want to be like this? Why do you want to, aspire to be like somebody who's consistently going against the grain of the people, of the brethren? That's not somebody to aspire to be like, man. Floyd is an incredible fighter, man. Leave it at that. And y'all, if we being real, Floyd just so happened to be great at the sport of boxing. Floyd does the same buster shit that every superstar fighter does. And he does it worse. And y'all don't have the talent and work ethic of a Floyd Mayweather, man. Y'all just don't, to do the, to follow in that man's footsteps, to fight like him. Y'all don't have, y'all not him. Y'all not him. So stop trying to be like this nigga, man. Stop trying to be like this nigga and forge your own legacy, man. Y'all just Spanish surnames and all that. You dig? I'm not saying don't fight no Mexican or Puerto Rican or Honduran or Cuban, Dominican, Colombian, Ecuadorian fighter. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is don't prioritize them over a black fighter. That's all I'm saying. Unless it makes sense. But don't just automatically, oh, yo, he Mexican. He got a whole country behind him. I'm about to fight. And when that motherfucker may not even be that guy. He may not even be that guy. If we being real, the only fighters with Mexico behind them is Sugar Nunez, Rafa. Who else? It's a few sprinkled in there. Canelo, of course. I don't even think Zordo got the backing like that. I don't even think Zordo has the backing of Mexico like that. So let's stop playing games, man. If you want some bullshit to where you finna prioritize every other nationality over black fighters because it's, you want to run with this narrative that there's no money in fighting black fighters, that's some sucker shit to me. And if any black man is supporting you, you gotta, look in the mirror and say, nah, I'm cool. That's where you get off the train at. Incredible fighter, but nah, this is it for me. I'm good. Keyshawn Davis ain't trying to move like that. Well, he wasn't trying to move like that. Shakur Stevenson definitely short. Shakur just want to get in the ring, man. Let's just fight. That's what we here for. Let's do the damn thing. You dudes disgusted me though, man. If that is true. But we'll see how it plays out as time goes on, because Devin is fighting Brian Norman Jr. He is fighting Brian Norman Jr. So for that, you got to show respect. You got to give it up. Like, yo, salute to you on that. Salute to you. But let's see let's see what happens after this fight. If he does beat Brian Norman Jr., let's see the moves that he makes. But if that is true, then that's a shame on you, Brody. But time will tell if that, if there's any clarity to what, to what Brian Sr. was saying. And I hope that ain't the case. Even though I'm not a fan of Devin Haney, I hope that ain't the case. Because that is some sucker shit. Especially as a devout, disciplined Muslim, man. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know, Islamic ideology like that, man. But I just feel like it's something that it has to be a scripture, a precept, something that kind of goes against this buster shit right here that he's doing. It has to be. Because there's just no way, if that is what your plan is, it just has to be something that's saying, like, nah, man, this shit is impractical, it's illogical, it's a fallacy. It's because there's the only interest for another black fighter isn't just in Tank Davis, dog. It isn't. And Tank Davis's fans are turning on him at a rapid rate. You think ain't no general interest in you fighting fucking I don't want to see it, but Richardson Hitchens or a Keyshawn Davis, a Shakur Stevenson, ain't no. Shit, bro. It's interest in you fighting Brian Norman Jr. I don't know, man. Bottom line, I hope what this man is talking about comes out to be fictitious. I really do, man. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about it. Keep doing what you're doing. You dig? The moves that you're making is to be respected and commended because you are taking risks. This is not gonna be an easy fight for you. So, and it just so happens to be a black man. That's why I'm kind of still like, I don't know. But, even Floyd had black fighters in his, on his resume. it was just far in between, especially as his career progressed. So I just hope you get out of that man's shadow, man, before it's too late and it causes you to do some other busted shit, man. But that's all I got to say about it, man. I'll get with y'all later, yo. Deuces.